Hi, in this video I will show you how to configure an L2 spine and leaf fabric. The spine and the two leaf pairs are configured with VLT. I will first show some default configurations, then I will gradually build the fabric with Ansible and show you the input YAML file as well as the resulting switch configurations. LLDP is configured by default. Rapid Pavilion spanning tree as well. By default, DHCP is configured on the management interface, but I have configured it manually in order to work in the GNS3 environment. All ports are up and configured as switch ports with access VLAN 1. I will now run 5 different deployments, or roles as it is called in Ansible. The system role is used to configure system parameters, including host name, but it could also be, for example, message of the day. Let's check how this is done. We go to the host vars file corresponding to the switch L1, and there we set the parameter host name under dellos_system to L1. Of course, we'll do exactly the same thing on all switches, but with different host names. It is now time to configure the host name on all the switches. You may have noticed that I got some errors. That's because Ansible had problems to connect to the switch. The beauty with Ansible is that you simply run the playbook again until there are no errors. Once that happens, you know that your configurations files have been deployed. Now there are no errors. And with the LLDP, we see the new host names. The updated host name is in the switch configuration as well, of course. The next step is to configure the physical interfaces. It is very little to do, as most interfaces will be port channels. I run the script, and as you see, port 116 is now configured as an access port, and it has a description. Port 111 will be used as a link between the switches in the VLT pair and may not be a switch port. That's why I've configured it to switch port false. We are getting closer. It's time to configure the lags or port channels, whatever you prefer to call it. The role is called dellos lag. Look for dellos_lag in the host vars file for the switch. Both port channels are LACP port channels, as it says dynamic. Port channel 10 has one physical port, 117, and port channel 1 has port 112 and 113. We run the lag deployment and we see that port channel 1 and 10 have been deployed. Only 2 steps remain, VLT and VLAN deployment. I run the VLT deployment and we can see that the VLT configuration has been deployed. Once again, we look in the host vars file for the switch L1. Interface 111 is used to connect the switches in the VLT pair. The VLT domain is 127 and port channel 1 and 10 are paired with port channel 1 and 10 respectively on the other VLT node. We deploy the VLANs and see that VLAN 10 is now configured on port channel 1, 10, 1000 and port 116. Let's finally look at the host vars file again. You may notice that port channel 1000 is not in the configuration template. That's because it's added automatically by the VLT functionality in the switch software. Now it only remains to check that the configuration works. So let's ping from one PC to another. As you have seen during the presentation, each role has certain variables that can be used in the template file. In order to find out which variables you can use and should use, just go to galaxyansible.com, Dell Networking, and we can, for example, look at the Dell OS VLT and take a look at the README file. And there you get all the Dell OS VLT keys. And you have a sample host vars file. I hope this presentation has been useful, and please contact me if you want more information. Thanks a lot.